Thank you for joining us this Tuesday afternoon. I'm Jurnee Taylor, and here are the top stories we're following for you now at noon. Governor Sanders' education plan now on the fast track for a first vote. That could come as early as tomorrow. Ahead, the key takeaways in the new pushback overnight from opponents. Plus, President Biden is in Poland, reiterating the U.S.'s support for Ukraine in the war with Russia. A check-in at the White House with a response from Moscow nearly 1 year after the war started. And today is Mardi Gras. Later, a look at the celebrations, and we want to hear from you celebrating today. But first, meteorologist Nathan Scott joins us. Nathan, I am so loving this taste of spring. Tell me it won't end anytime soon. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Jurnee. I'm going to give you a couple more days with temperatures into the 70s, but look at what's happening behind me. It is 81 right now in Texarkana, and it's only noon. They're seeing lots more sunshine in South Arkansas. Meanwhile, it's 58 in Mountain Home, 68 here in the capital city, 67 in Pine Bluff. We've got a front slicing its way through the state. To the south of the front, the winds are coming in from the south, and that's why it's warmer in South Arkansas. To the north of the front, it's a little bit cooler, and that's because the winds are coming in from the east and northeast. So when you take a look at your planner today, temperatures will be a little bit cooler in north and northeast Arkansas. Temperatures rising into the mid to upper 60s. Here in central Arkansas, low to mid 70s and well into the 80s. Camden, El Dorado, and Monticello. Tomorrow, we're still going to be well into the 70s. The trade-off is we've got scattered showers and storms in the forecast, and there could be maybe some strong storms for parts of the state. I'll have more on that. And look what happens Friday, Jurnee. We drop down into the 40s. So we do have some changes to talk about.
We got our first look at Governor Sanders' new Arkansas Learns bill yesterday. Arkansas Democrats are responding and demanding more time to review the 144-page bill. In a tweet, they called it a scam. Senate Bill 294 keeps a lot of the governor's initial promises we've heard for the last few weeks. The governor said teacher pay would increase to $50,000, which would make Arkansas the fourth highest paying state in the country when it comes to teacher pay. Now gaining a lot of attention here recently is school choice. The bill states the state board would not establish a maximum number of transfers in or out of a district. School safety has been a huge talking point for years as well. Some of the highlights in this bill include school resource officer training, a safety assessment done by schools, and training for educators to recognize changes in behavior. This morning, Governor Sanders was at the Capitol talking to homeschool families. Our Ian Russell is at the Capitol working to ask Governor Sanders about the bill. And President Biden is in Warsaw meeting with Poland's president on a mission to firm up support for Ukraine nearly a year after Russia invaded the country. The visit comes as Russian President Vladimir Putin increases the tensions with the West by suspending its participation in nuclear arms control pact with the United States. Skylar Henry reports from the White House.
President Biden met with the president of Poland amid much fanfare Tuesday, where he reaffirmed the United States' commitment to its European allies.
Our support for Ukraine will not waver. NATO will not be divided, and we will not tire.
The president arrived in Warsaw after an unannounced visit to Ukraine Monday that was meant to show solidarity with the war-torn nation and send a defiant message to Russia nearly 1 year since the invasion began.
I just come from a visit to Kyiv, and I can report Kyiv stands strong.
But Russian President Vladimir Putin sent a defiant message of his own in his State of the Nation address.
Россия ответит на любые вызовы.
Putin said his nation would not be defeated in battle and announced that Russia will suspend its participation in the new START treaty, which limits each country to no more than 1,550 deployed nuclear warheads and 700 deployed missiles and bombers. The agreement includes on-site inspections to verify compliance. By suspending the last remaining nuclear arms control pact with the United States, Russia has significantly ramped up tensions with the West. Biden administration officials were quick to condemn the action.
The announcement by Russia that it's suspending participation in New START is deeply unfortunate and irresponsible. We'll be watching carefully to see what Russia actually does.
The head of the United Nations also spoke out against Putin's announcement and encouraged Russia to reconsider. Skyler Henry, CBS News, the White House.
Originally signed in 2010, the New START treaty was set to expire 2 years ago, but just days before time was supposed to run out, the two sides agreed to extend it for another 5 years. And Russia's invasion of Ukraine is also leading to a mass exodus of Ukrainians fleeing. 8 million people fled the country, according to UN figures, while another 8 million escaped to safer places within Ukraine. It's the biggest and fastest mass exodus since World War II. We could learn the prison sentence today for Mauricio Torres, an Arkansas man convicted of sexually assaulting and killing his own 6-year-old son. A jury convicted Torres last week. You might remember he went on trial for this twice before and was already found guilty. The first time, a judge decided some of the crime happened in another state and he would have to be retried. Then the second trial was declared a mistrial after someone attacked Torres during sentencing. Torres was convicted for a third time last week of murdering his son Isaiah back in 2015. He faces either life in prison or the death penalty for the crime. Well, people at Mapleville Middle School will be hoping for a more normal day today after a scary start to the week. Around 11 o'clock yesterday morning, a student called in and falsely reported an active shooter. He or she has since been arrested and is facing misdemeanor charges. Privacy laws prevent the school from releasing details about the suspect because of age restrictions. Today, North Little Rock police will continue investigating a deadly Monday night shooting. Around 5:40, someone reported gunshots on Parker Street, less than a half-mile east of Heritage Park and Hickory View Apartments. When officers got to the scene, they found a man dead with at least one bullet wound. His identity isn't being released until police talk to his family, but we're expecting to learn that today. Officers haven't said if they're looking for a suspect, though they are treating it as a homicide. And 4 months after a 19-year-old was shot and killed in downtown Little Rock, his family still doesn't have answers as to what happened. On October 8th, Tremonti Bruhl went out with his friends and never came home. The next morning, his mom got a knock on the door from police there to tell her her son had been shot. Earlier that morning, just before 2 a.m., officers had responded to gunfire on South Louisiana Street. He had been shot and was sent to the hospital where he died. His mom, Tia Sims, says a piece of her family is now gone, and she's since moved away back to New Orleans.
Why would I stay? I don't know who did this to my child. Y'all say y'all don't know. All y'all could tell me was it was 140 rounds and it wasn't meant for my child. That's all they keep saying.
Well, she's still looking for answers, trying to piece together why this happened and who's responsible. Little Rock police say this is still an ongoing investigation, and they're encouraging the public to reach out if anyone has a tip, and it can be anonymous. Tributes to continue to pour in for former President Jimmy Carter, who is now in end-of-life care. He spent President's Day resting at home with his wife and family by his side. Robert Costa spoke with the former pastor of the church where Carter taught Sunday school for decades.
I've never met anyone like Jimmy Carter. Not even close.
When Jimmy Carter recruited Tony Loudon to come to his hometown church, Loudon answered the call, and the two formed a special bond.
How tough is this time for you?
Not only have I been able to be his pastor, but it's tough for me because he's also my friend.
Loudon recalled being especially moved by a trip they made together to a historically black cemetery near Plains.
The A's are pushing his wheelchair, and he's in the sun, the hot sun, pointing out that headstone right there is Bishop William Decker Johnson, African-American AME bishop who introduced me to Christ. Like, here's a father and son who the father served in World War I and the son served in World War II. This cemetery where African Americans have spilled blood and built Georgia and fought for this nation. You know, some in today's politics will call that being woke, but he was aware.
And in recent weeks, Loudon told us he's been visiting with the former president, who shared this advice for him and all of us.
Don't get weary. Don't be afraid. Don't give up. Because this is a great nation.
Loudon told us he sees Carter as a servant's leader with a servant's heart. And he said in recent days when they have been praying together, the former president has been praying for others. Robert Costa, CBS News, Plains, Georgia.
Well, trying to hire a dog walker is getting harder and more expensive. After the break, why dog owners are paying more to get their pups some exercise. Nathan, listen, I might walk a dog or two today. It's just a nice one out there.
It is a great day to walk your furry friend, Jurnee, because we've got sunshine, temperatures very pleasant. A few more days of 70-degree weather can be expected, but we have a chance of showers and storms on your Wednesday. I'll have more on those details coming up.
Thank you, Nathan. And a much more common occurrence, car crashes for state police. They happen almost daily. When they get dangerous, troopers are trained to end them using a pit maneuver, and that's short for precision immobilization technique. It's effective, but the crash that follows is often frightening and also dangerous. When a 2020 crash involving a pregnant woman ended up in court, criticism of the pit maneuver came to a head. Tonight at 10, Rolly Holt explains why that criticism didn't lead to change. Join us to find out why doing a pit isn't slowing down.